Welcome to episode 18 of Where Clarets Walk. We're reviewing the Stoke game and we have a public apology to make to Scott Parker on this week's episode. We're also talking about Koleosho, the January window priorities, and who is Burnley's Player of the Month for November in these fans' eyes. Of course, we've got Dan and Jordan back with us, and thank you very much, of course, for watching as well. Right then, we'll make a little apology to Scott Parker because he's getting it more right than he is wrong, Dan, isn't he?
We never said anything bad about him. Come off it. I think there's a few fans, though, and I think we've discussed it many times. I think a few weeks ago, certainly, I was losing my patience with him. And a lot of other fans have gone way off the deep end, saying, that's it, let's get him sacked, he's gone. And now all of a sudden, everyone's saying, actually, no, he's got a point. You know, I think we were more patient than with a lot of people. I think certainly Jordan's kept the faith with him as well.
Oh,
yeah. Apology on behalf of fans, not necessarily
absolutely not this channel. Absolutely not. No. Anonymous Burnley fan says the second half of the Stoke game is one of my favourite performances of the season so far, apart from the Luton game. We were class, absolutely class. Scott Parker, I apologise. Your football's still boring, but it's not as bad as I thought it was. Brilliant control, and we're now making different types of chances. And Jordan, I want to pick you up on that one if that's okay. And of course, the defending is still solid. So, are you seeing a different type of attack? Because we've criticised him before for just being one-dimensional. Are we moving away from that now? Are you seeing different types of approach play?
Yeah, well, I paid a bit of attention after the game. Do you know when they do the reactions? You go to a player and Scott Parker, and I picked up something he said when he said about because I thought we were going to make changes at half time. And he said something about they played 5 at the back, and that kind of shocked us because he hadn't done it all season. I think it was more tactical prowess that second half, and it does show his versatility that he spotted that fault, made fixes, and everyone's saying it's the best performance we've put in this season.
Would you either of you swap him for any other manager in this league?
No, I wouldn't.
Nope.
No, certainly wouldn't with Coventry's new acquisition. Crikey. No, I think certainly in this division, you know, we said when we got him, he knows his way out of it. He's done it twice. A lot of the other teams say he is dull and he's turgid to watch. I think we're half agreeing with that. But similarly, like Jordan just said then, that second half performance, we were attacking and we know we're not going to concede, or if we do, we're not going to concede many. So, you know, I think, I wouldn't swap him.
We apologise for calling him out. Here's another one. Chris says, another clean sheet, another solid win. Now, had we not got the penalty against Swansea, there was some, and you referred to them earlier here, Dan, with the knives out for Parker. Since that Swansea moment, we have not looked back. Full credit for Scott Parker. We are on a roll. And it's true, isn't it, Jordan? Had that Swansea penalty, and it was a dodgy penalty at that time, not been given, that would have been another blank. And potentially you could have seen a lot more hashtag Parker out.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the fan base were wanting rid of him not a short while ago. But I do think, again, he showed the mentality, and he stood on his principle. That's something else I've liked. And the players he's told us to put a bit of trust in, they've been with the trust. I mean, look at Anthony. It looks like a different player. Watching him play last weekend with confidence, it was like watching a different Anthony. So I'm just, I'm hoping that more people are trusting the process now.
Absolutely. We'll leave the Scotty P debate there for one week. We can't get that. We can't make that a thing. Let's talk Koleosho, shall we? Dan, if that's okay. We have James saying Anthony and Koleosho don't take enough chances. We're just missing a really clinical striker, and we'd probably comfortably get promoted. Another one, Koleosho, I will never give up on you, Starboy. Where are you with Koleosho in your season review of him so far? Does he not score enough given the chances that he has in games for you?
It's an odd one, isn't it? I mean, you saw him against Leeds. He runs off the pitch and scores an absolute belter. And then for several games, he's not gone missing because he will still try. But sometimes he's running down dark alleys. Sometimes his end product's not very, very good. And he missed a chance on Saturday. I think Anthony could be wrong who played it into him, but plays it into him. He's running onto it. It's not an easy chance, but it's a chance you think he should have done a bit better with it. So I think the only thing I can say is that the last couple of games he seemed to have changed his style a bit. He's starting looking for passes now rather than just trying to take somebody on completely. I think there's a lot of potential there. I don't think he's realised it, and I don't think he is as good as what we were hoping he was going to be at this moment. He's got the ability to become, in my opinion, a very, very good player. He's just not showing it. He's making some bad decisions at the minute. Once he's got that sorted and he maybe just calms down a bit, he might get there.
It's a good shout. Jordan, can I get your view on the same?
Poorly again. I completely echo what Dan says. I think his lack of, his decisiveness is just coming from his age, really. When he gets a few more games under his belt, a little bit more wealth of experience, he'll start making that right pass, and you'll see a different player. But one thing I do love about Coley, which I will say, is even if he is having a poor game, I've never seen him sulk. He just keeps going and keeps going.
He seems to get frustrated with himself, but his head never goes down, does it?
No, I've never seen him give up on a run or not track back just because he's not having a good performance.
Yeah.
Right. I've got to be honest with you. I am really looking forward to your next game. The Championship's meanest defence against the Championship's best attack as Borough come to Turf Moor. He's not going to, Dan, so I know before you tell me this. But would you make any changes to the way you set up for this game?
No, I don't. But he will. Yeah, I don't think he's named the same 11 2 weeks running. He always seems to change it. And in this one, it's on Sky. It's Friday night. I'll be going on. The headlines write itself. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object. All that kind of nonsense. But I don't. He seems to change it to what he thinks he's going to be up against. Like on Saturday, he drops. I know Brownhill was coming back from an injury, but he put him on the bench. Plays Laurent in there. He drops Hannibal and plays a different system. And I think he doesn't tinker an awful lot. His back five's pretty much the same, but then he swapped Pires out. So he probably will make the odd change. I can't tell you what they're going to be because Christ knows. But, he probably will make the odd one. But no, he won't make wholesale changes.
Jordan, some people are predicting that this will either be the playoff final or the top two that go up. Two English managers, of course, as well. Do you, as a Burnley fan, do you take any notice of that kind of thing? Leicester have been criticised for not appointing or considering the good English coaches we've got going up. But are you happy that 4 of the top 6 at the moment are all coached by English managers?
Well, what I'll compare it to is when the biggest fight in boxing to be made was Joshua and Fury. Now, being a massive Fury fan, I was immensely proud it were 2 Brits. Or if the Champions League final is when it was Chelsea United constantly, I was happy it was 2 English teams. So you could say, yeah, because we do lack heavily on good candidates on management.
It's going to be a good game there, though, isn't it? We can see your goals. Your goal actually. Your goals against be increased here. Borough are free scoring, and with Finazaz and Lati Lath. Do you still think you'll win, Dan?
It's got 0-0 written all over it, hasn't it?
It has.
I think they might probably they're going to test us, and I think they might breach us. But we're scoring, and we're scoring a few more. And like you said earlier, in the guy who tweeted earlier saying that we're scoring different types of goals, which means that we're showing different ways of how we can go and win a match. They are going to have to throw the kitchen sink at us to try and break us down, and they may well do it. But I still think we've got enough behind us, certainly at home, to beat them. Because then them down row went to their gaff and beat them 1-0. They're not an invincible team. They're just very good at going forward. I think we'll be all right.
Did you cheer the Blackburn result this weekend, either of you?
We're a hard one. It was a hard one. Honestly, I remember being sat in the kitchen before all kickoffs happened, and I thought, do you know what? I think we're good enough to go on and do it anyway. I don't care if Leeds win. Like I don't know. It's hard, isn't it?
It was a tough one.
Oh,
It was
come
like,
on,
can we
Dan. It was
both
90
lose?
minutes. Blackburn were winning 1-0. You didn't want a Leeds equaliser, did you?
No, I didn't. No, you're right. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as it pains me, they can beat anybody else as long as they don't beat us. And if they're going to help us go up, then fair play to them. I didn't know they were so neighbourly. But yeah,
Okay.
cheers, guys.
Yeah, they're looking forward to is it January the 4th or January the 1st when you
yeah, early January,
yeah. Right, okay, let's move on then. January transfer window is next. Santa's lists are being written by children all across the country. So let's write Burnley's, shall we? What Jordan goes top of the list for you in terms of positions needed?
I think it goes without saying a striker, definitely. A right back, I think, for depth, because Shrandi Sambo, I haven't seen enough of him to see him as somebody that we can rely on if anything was to happen to Roberts. So a good, reliable right back would be good. Maybe, no, this is a big maybe. Maybe a left back, only because there is some quality left backs out there. Sometimes Perez can be shaky, and Bashir isn't really a left back; he's a centre back by trade. But there, if I was to pick anywhere to strengthen, they'd be my three.
Okay, good shouts. Dan, would you add to that or swap the order around?
I think a striker is the one that everyone is screaming out for. I think our top goal scorer is what's he called?
Josh Brownhill.
Scored the penalty.
Brownhill,
Brownhill. Yeah. Brownhill's top goal scorer. J-Rod's 38 years old or something like that, 35. And Foster, I don't know if he's going to return anytime soon. We need a focal point. We need someone who's young. I know it's easy to ask for, but if they were that readily available, everyone would have one. I think that, in my opinion, is priority. I don't disagree with what Jordan says. There are other areas which you can strengthen, maybe like squad players. But I think midfield and defence clearly is fine. But I think it's just that top end that needs reinforcing. So, yeah, I agree.
All right. If you can add to that, or if you've got any good shouts for strikers, Louis Barry's name seems to be dropping all around all the championship. Let us know in the comments below. Finally, November is over now. We're into December, so we can formally ask you for your November Player of the Month. Dan, can you go first on this one?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will probably go with this. Most improved player, I think you'd have to give it to me, CJ. I know that's Jordan's pick, probably. I know he was championing him. I think you can't look too far past him. He's been immense. I was a big critic of his at the beginning of the season. If we're talking about apologies, that is one that I would have to make. And I think that he's just been fantastic. I think, he's proven a lot of people wrong, or he's proven other people right. So I think he has to get certainly the nod. Steve next to him as well has been very, very good. It has to be a defender. I mean, you can't go through conceding next to nothing and not give it to one of them.
Jordan, has he stole your thunder?
He stole my thunder. No, I'm going to go CJ, but I won't want to repeat. Obviously, it is CJ, but let's give someone else a bit of a shout who I think personally deserves one, because I haven't seen the boy put a foot wrong yet. I know he doesn't start every game, but Bashir Humphries, man, he hasn't done it. I haven't seen him put a pass wrong yet, let alone anything else. He's been brilliant. And he's very unsung, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. The few times I've seen him, obviously you've seen him more, I've always been very impressed with him. Very tidy player. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Any advances on those two, of course, you know what to do. Drop it into the comments below. Look, Friday, we're looking forward to this one. I've got my takeaway already. Thinking about, ready to order, put my feet up with a beer in hand and watch you guys against Borough. No 0-0s, please. We want a good 3-3 thriller, please. Enjoy the game. Of course, we'll be back next week to review how it's all gone. So join us for that. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We'd love to get to 100 before Christmas. That would make our Christmas. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.